Okay, so I'm going to go through a thing called Levels of Living, which is part of a book I'm working on. And I just want to say before I go through it that everyone is doing the best they know how, given their life circumstances and history. So I learned this from one of my teachers. It is so true. Everyone's doing the best they know how. And once I understood that, it really changed my relationship with everyone. So these are what I call levels of living. It's a segment from my book where a young man is being taught to become a druid. And in order to become a druid, and this is, about 3,000 years ago, the Druids were the leaders, the priests, the politicians, and it's a 20-year course. So you have to, go through this process, and at some point in time, you're sort of christened as a druid, a teacher, leader in the community. And there's not a lot written about this because they didn't have anything to write with at the time. So as we go through this, what I call the levels of living, just notice where you hang out mostly, right? And what's important about understanding different levels of living, everything from being angry all the time to enlightened, in order to get to the sort of next level, you have to be able to at least picture what that's like. One of the things I talk about with my clients is you can't really create something you can't conceive, right? So that's how the human mind works. So say we're sitting here, we're watching football, and they put a pizza commercial on, and the pizza looks so delicious, and then you go, okay, well, I'll have to order a pizza. So it starts with the vision, with the possibility, and then you can take action to achieve that vision. So if I'm going to put this levels of living up, I'm going to go through it. Can people see this? No?
No, not yet. There's a screen share button on the bottom.
Yeah, okay. Multiple participants, okay. All right, so I can share my screen, right?
Yeah, if you click on share screen.
There we go. All right. Now, where is my document? Okay. Put it up. I think this is it. No. Oh. I'll try that again.
No.
Share screen. Oh, there it is.
Now we can see it.
Okay.
It's over.
It over. I know.
Scroll it to the left.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Great.
Levels of living. So just keep in mind what I just said, no matter where you are on this, in order to experience the next level, you have to be able to picture it. And this is a scene from the book where the Priestess and Syncra, who are Druids, are teaching this young leader to be a Druid. And so she says, before you make the vow, we want you to know the trials you will face to become a Druid. There are 12 levels of living, which will force you to face your ego's dragons and will help you along the way with your challenges. But only your strong heart will allow you to survive. So the first level is what we call lost in conceptual realities. People at that level are controlled by their own thoughts and beliefs. They believe and live in a reality not agreed upon by the rest of society. Level 2, reality defined by social values. Reality is defined by socially agreed upon values. This is a large percentage of the people on Earth. These people function within one culture and several subcultures. Level 3, defined by self. Person has been able to see through the subculture and culture that control his or her life and has been able to redefine reality to suit their needs. Level 4, doubting defined realities. This person has been able to create new realities and therefore has doubts about what is real. After all, if you can redefine or create a reality, then it is not a true reality. Level 5, a sense of something deeper. This is a person who has dealt with the uncertainty of level 4, yet feels there is something missing. There seems to be a hole in their soul. Level 6, experiences moments of awakening. This person has moments of being in the present, which are seen as flashes of enlightenment and is drawn to recreate the experience. Level 7, committed to the practice of being in the present. This person has found ways to recreate their experiences of enlightenment by bringing their mind and body into the present moment and has found several practices that build upon those experiences. Living mostly in the present, the practices have yielded a lifestyle and depth of understanding that keeps this person in the present moment most of the time. I've met several people like that. And just being around them elevates your consciousness. Level 9, totally awakened state. This person is totally awakened to the present moment. They are always in the present. They are aware of no separation between themselves and the universe and appear as God's incarnate. Angels and spirits. These beings live as energy forms, as spirits or angels. They are still concerned with human development and remain around the earth to help with the transformation of humankind. Spirit guide to all beings. This is a level achieved by Christ, Buddha, after human death. They have become a being of awareness and a connection for other beings and spirits to the source. And lastly, at one with the universe. This being no longer has or is aware of a separate identity. They are part of all things. Their energy is the energy of the universe. And most of our problems in society come from these lower levels lost in conceptual realities, realities defined by social values, and when they conflict with one another, it creates wars, it creates hatred. As you begin to define your own values, you begin to see that the subculture or the culture has controlled your life. And since you've been able to define that to suit your needs, you begin to doubt the defined realities. So any level we achieve, we can go all the way back to level 1 if circumstances are difficult, or level 2. Level 2 is easy. You find your little tribe, you agree with all their values, and you live your life according to that. As we go to level 3 and we are defined by ourself, we see through the subcultures that's controlled our life and that able to redefine reality to suit your needs. So it's all a process, you know. Once you get to level 6, once you've had a moment of awakening, everything changes. You begin to question your belief system. You become closer to nature. There's one scene in the book where Solar, who's the student, is sitting in the forest with the priestess. And she's pointing out how the ferns at the bottom of the tree and the moon are connected. And all things are connected. All things, everything. We're connected, though we don't notice, to the beings of light that we all talk about periodically. And everything in the universe, if you look at a picture of galaxies, is circular. The galaxies rotate. The stars rotate, the sun, the moon rotates around the earth. And there is this deep, deep connection that in moments of awakening, we can feel. And that moment of awakening will change our lives. We see the world differently. We become connected to the flow of nature, to the flow of a simple river. If you're canoeing down it, which I've done several times, you can just feel the hum, the Tao, the life force. And then you know that you were part of the whole. And you start to work on yourself, becoming more present. And at some point in time, helping others do the same. And in order to do that, you kind of have to know where you are now, right? So I'd like to discuss this, like your thoughts. Where do you think you are? Not judging yourself or judging others, because we all are wherever we are. And we kind of move up and down, you know, depending on our life circumstances. But I think the key is to have experienced being present, having people around you who are often present. That enables you to kind of let go of what your beliefs are. When we hang on to our beliefs, stuff happens. Wars happen, hatred. A belief is just a concept. It's not the river. It's not the heartbeat of life. It's not the Tao. It's just a thought. So if you're having negative thoughts, if you're feeling sad, it's just a thought. You can connect with, to use what, the Tao, you can connect with the Tao, you connect with the flow of life. And that's what's important, your ability to connect. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Again, remembering, in order to create a different presence, if you will, you have to kind of know what the next level is. And that's kind of the purpose of this, with the Druid master teaching the young man how to go to a deeper level and become a servant, if you will, to people. So, thoughts, insights, Mary Grace.
I really love this, Paul. I just found myself, I just closed my eyes and listened to you and used it like a meditation, you know, like feeling it moving through me. And it reminds me of the power versus force steps also. So I thank you for bringing this to us. I just really appreciate this a lot.
Okay, you're welcome. And of course, in the book, the Druid student is asking questions about these and the master's answering and so on. We don't have time to go into all of that, but it's a journey. I'll take this down so we can see everybody. Okay, let's see. All right, other thoughts?
Paul, what drew you to this topic? And are you, is this your practice?
Yes, it is. Yeah. What drew me to it is, you know, I'm a poet. I write poetry. I've shared that with you. And it usually comes from a sort of state of enlightenment, you know, a deeper place in my life. So in the book, you know, we have to teach the young student how to progress along these levels. And so I just started thinking about it in my own life and tried to define it. In the book, these descriptions are a little bit longer. But, you know, the danger is getting lost in our beliefs and in the beliefs of others. It's really dangerous and not fulfilling. And, you know, the deepness of life, being one with the flow, there's nothing like it, you know. There's nothing like it. And as you grow, you know, as you become more present, you know, I think when I first met Sydney Banks, he was a spiritual teacher, I just liked being around him, you know, because he was just always present, had a great sense of humor. And he was leading this conference, and my job was to, when people came late, right, to sort of ask them why they were late, why they were not, you know, committed, and so on. And the one person said to me, well, it's the elephant in the road. And I said, come on now. You know what I mean, the elephant in the road? He says, no, really, I came up from San Diego and an elephant had escaped the zoo and was sitting in the road and nobody could get past. And so we all had a laugh about that. And of course, Sid, you know, who's a teacher, you know, when he heard that, we just went into laughter and joy. And yeah, let's not take ourselves so seriously. You know, the elephant in the road was a great teacher in this case. So anyway, Bill, go ahead. You have to
Okay, there we go. All right, thank you. Yeah, I was curious, Paul, if this was primarily your invention, placed in this format, or did you do research specifically on Druidic traditions and research, scholarly research in that area?
Yes, I did, but there's not a lot, right? There are Druids today in the UK and stuff, but the research is just about, I discovered there was these people called Druids, and they were the leaders and teachers and so on. And then I thought, well, this is an opportunity to express myself, because not much was written about them. So I can kind of make things up here. And I made this, levels of living up based on my own life experience and what I've seen with others and so on. And it just seems right to me, that's all.
Cool.
And I'm always wanting to move to the next level, to be more present, more loving, more kind. And when I work with my clients at the deeper level, I have them discover what I call their natural genius, and they say, well, what's that? And I say, well, it's who you are when you're in the zone, when you're being your true self, right? And it's usually three things. Mine, first one is kindness. I've always been kind. I know people are doing the best they know how, given their life experiences. The next level is pattern recognition. I have a God-given gift to see patterns. Sometimes it is a gift, sometimes it's not so much fun, because you can see what's going to happen if things don't change. And then my last gift is inspiring people to exceed their own expectations. And that's what I try to do. So
thank you very much.
Whitney, and then Carolyn.
I want to reach out to, thank you, Paul. I think this is fascinating. And it reminds me of something that I believe Nita presented to us a long time ago. It's a very powerful book, and it has all, Nita, I'm going to ask you to follow up on this. I don't remember the author, and I think the title was something, The Power and something else, Force.
Power versus Force.
Yeah.
Power versus Force.
Yeah. Oh, so you know the book too.
I do.
I don't know who's the author. Remember?
David Hawkins.
David Hawkins.
Oh, yes, David Hawkins. And he goes from kind of a down, all the way up. And the last one is like, Jesus type.
Yeah.
Lowest. I mean, it's more emotional, I think, because it goes into anger, and then it gets to something neutral, and then it goes up to like bliss. And this seems kind of another wording for some similar path. And also, a lot of us have spent time with 12 steps, and I know that the result of years of 12 step is sort of an enlightenment and sharing it, and yet I don't see some of the working processes of 12 step in, well, maybe there is, I should reread it, but I guess it's sort of amends and letting go, and maybe even forgiveness in there. But I the last thing I want to say is my husband Doug, you didn't know him, but he was a cool guy, and he always used to say that people are doing the best they know how.
Yeah.
And it took me a few years to hear it. I asked, yeah, but blah, 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 excuses and beliefs and judgments and all that. But finally I heard it. And to this day, I think it's one of the most profoundly truthful, honest, or, good, non-judgmental assessments of how we regard other people. And I'm very glad that you brought that up and that you mentioned it and reinforced. And I think it's fascinating. And I love that there's some sort of connection with the universe, because like what Samuel was saying about creating a universal community, and I know my brother's been interested in that for a while, Dr. Thomas Griggs, is and I think that's very cool. So that's it, I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Carolyn.
Oh, my goodness. I have a bunch to say.
Okay.
First of all, I presume that 2,000 and 3,000 years ago, that even the Druids probably didn't live long lives. So, you know, we were talking about in the medieval period, people were dying by 45 or 40. So if they have a 20-year study series, they probably started at about 12.
Yes.
You know, and
My understanding that a young man or woman would go into it.
Right.
Teacher, yes.
And that is, there are parallels to this. First of all, I really love what you wrote. There are parallels to this in our general growth and also in the stages of maturation from Erik Erikson and Piaget. It comes from being so egocentric into incorporating others, into becoming one with others.
Yeah.
And about power versus force book. First of all, you know what, Wick? Jesus was, I think, as I remember, he was stuck at 700. This goes up to 1,000. And I don't know, I can't remember who was at 1,000. I don't think anybody in a physical body ever was. And also, I would like to say that I respect this book a great deal and Mr. Hawkins, but you know, I think he missed the boat here because he said power versus force. So it was all, he was making the power being forceful, you know, rather than saying power or force.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Them's my thoughts.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Carolyn. Okay. Yeah, I've created silence. Oh, Dr. Jenny.
Thank you so much for this enlightenment presentation. And I wonder, since we all carry emotions, thoughts, and feelings in a container, how do you, what do you do with these principles when you are presented with a stressful issue and your emotions, thoughts, and feelings from the past come into the moment?
Okay, so one of the things I was taught is a little phrase called "have what you have," right? So you can't ignore these things, but you have to have it, you know, I have to experience, like I experienced disappointment. My hot water heater went out on Friday, and so we had cold water all weekend. And so, you know, one of the things that gets under my skin is when things don't work. If the computer doesn't work, my hot water heater isn't working. So I just remind myself that, you know, I don't have to be in this funk. I don't have to, but you have to experience it, right? You can't, if you push it down, it's going to get worse. So if you experience it, you're able to release it. I have a poem called After Letting Go, and basically the theme is after, you know, you let go of all your beliefs and assumptions, suddenly you can see the sunrise over the valley and the colors change as the sun comes to a higher angle, and you know, have it. If you feel bad, cry. I cry a lot. my teacher also would cry a lot, you know, and he would see an unfortunate situation or someone who's suffering deeply. Nothing wrong with that. Just let it go, experience it. That's the other little phrase, have what you have. That meant a lot to me. Being from England and from an English Anglo-Saxon family, judgment is prized value. which I have had to transcend, in order to become a real person. So,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
thank you. Okay. Other thoughts? We could do a meditation at this point in time. Would that be okay?
Great. I'd love that.
All right. Just close your eyes. Take in a deep breath and hold it. Hold it. Let it go. Take another breath, deep, 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 deep. And hold it. And let it go. And now just go back to your normal breathing pattern. Inhale, exhale. But now just inhale a little deeper, maybe 10% deeper than normal. And exhale again, maybe 10% more. Empty your lungs. And just picture yourself in a beautiful place in nature. Maybe you're sitting by a river, a pond. Maybe you're deep in the forest, sitting quietly. What do you hear? Wind rustling through the trees. Maybe there's a deer coming down the hill. You can hear his footsteps. Your mind becomes silent. And you just focus on your breathing. Our breathing is obviously a great gift that we tend to forget. Just happens automatically. But we can only live maybe a couple of weeks without food. Maybe a few days without water. But only about 3 minutes without our breath. So just take a moment of gratitude as you follow your breathing process. And as you exhale, let the sorrow, the anger, the fear fall into the earth. And as you inhale, feel the light of the Spirit filling your lungs and your being. Notice your heart. Notice your heart chakra as it spins around and stimulates your other chakras, your throat. Allow yourself to fall into the light. Just to enjoy your breathing. and give thanks for your breath, for your life, however it may be. If you're quiet enough, you might hear singing, you might hear angels singing to you. Whenever I have troubles or Bonnie has troubles, I say, hey, invite the angels to come and cradle you. Just be loved by the spirits who are all waiting to help you. They want you to join them. And be a beacon of light for humanity. Wherever you are in your level of living, don't judge yourself. Just have it. But practice letting go. Because the more you let go, the more present you'll be and the more you'll feel the flow of life. Wisdom. The wisdom of a child at play. The wisdom of a sage. It's all within you. All we need to do is let go of the beliefs that cloud our connection to the eternal. All right.
That was lovely, Paul. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for allowing it. Nita. Unmute.
You know, Whitney just asked me to offer my perspective and I laughed. I was like, okay. I have for years and years have done a process called soul dowsing, and it's based on the Michael material. If anybody's ever read that, it's way old, one of the first channel pieces that ever came out, way before you know, all the new hotshots. Anyway, in there, he lays out the idea that there are 7 stages of humanity, and that you're born into the world as an infant soul, and you are, that's as far as you're going to get. You are an infant soul, and generally that's an Aboriginal, Down syndrome, someone who's just not being comfortable being human yet. And then as you go through past lives, you move into an infant, baby soul, which is like a toddler, and you're just beginning to understand. And you can't get beyond that until you've had past lives that give you the experiences of that stage of life. And then you move into the young, which is like a teenager, and you're ready to kick ass and have fun and make money and fuck everything. And then you have to go through all the lives to realize your mature level, which is to understand that all of it is really just about relationship and who you love and who you allow to love you. And then you go through many past lives loving and learning and getting kicked out. And then you move into the old stage, which is the wisdom stage, where you don't want to mess with any of it. You've done it, now you're happy being a gardener, and it's like, hey, none of that, you're beyond it. And then many more past lives, and we're talking probably, hundreds, and you have to go through 7 levels of each of these ages. And then when you're at your old stage, when you die, you have the choice of coming back or staying, and those are called transcendentals, you know what I'm saying, transcendent souls.
Yeah.
And they're very, again, according to your your page, it's very aligned. And they know they're there to help. They know they're here to help. And many states, and then you move into the infinite stage, which is generally you have the word Lord moved in front of your name. Lord Jesus, Lord Buddha, Lord Muhammad. And that's, so it very much aligns with what you're talking about, but sort of from a different angle. And there is a book out that completely explains all of this in great detail, and you can actually determine where you are in this great line of lifetimes. So so hey, Whitney, we got what you asked for.
Yeah, no, it's great, thanks. I know my father said that he believes in reincarnation because he remembers choosing the life that he was living. He remembers making that choice to be who he is and what he does. And
well, according to this, between lives, and I'm sure so many people here already know this, but that's the thing about being in this group, is that we're talking to people who have experienced so much of everything that we all talk about. It's almost like we're constantly reaffirming to each other that, yes, we are on this path. And yes, we do know these things. This says in terms of reincarnation that, between lives, you have the opportunity to look at where you've been, look at what you've learned, and look at what you need to learn, and to pick out all of the players in your next event, and so this time he may be your brother, and next time he may be your mother, and I enjoy that. I love what Margaret Atwood, the author of Handmaid's Tale, said. She said, when people ask me if I believe in God, I say I like to believe in God. I believe in God because it makes me feel good. And that's a bad quote, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I like to believe that I choose. I like to believe that I'm on a path. I like to believe, whether or not I am, or I'm just fooling myself, hey, but it's a great way to just enjoy life.
all right, thank you. I agree.
I have a little comment.
Okay, and then Afton, please.
Did you say okay to me?
Yeah, Samuel, yes, go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you. Some of us work so hard to become mature adults, and this is a country that's in its latent adolescence. It hasn't really broken up to adulthood, but we get there. Some of us get there where we're mature and we're responsible and we think long term. And after working so hard to get to that state, it can be very challenging to break free of that and become childlike again.
Yeah.
And become playful and joyful and willing to just go wherever life takes us, because we're used to being mature now. So it's good to have that level of maturity and take it full circle to your childlike innocence.
Yes.
It's my
Did you-
comment.
Did you sum up that in the jungle, Samuel?
Of course.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you, Samuel. Afton.
Yes, along with what Nita said, I'm a past life regression therapist, and we do exactly as Nita, as you were saying, we have people go after they've experienced, we've been in the past life that we've been led to or they've chosen to go to. We go to between lives and we ask to look back and say, why did you choose that life? Who did you choose to be in it? Why did you choose to have them in it? And it's interesting. It's exactly what you were saying. Also, when I'm asked where I am with that, I say my left brain totally doubts it. It just can't be. And my right brain absolutely knows it is so. Live with those opposites.
Absolutely. Thank you, Afton. All right. We don't have any other observations. I've said all I want to say, so we can move to our closing process.
Thank you so much, Paul. I really
Yes.
very much.